Hi, Adam from Audio Imperia here. Last year we released our much-loved Nucleus and Solo libraries, and I'm pleased to announce that we're expanding our collection with some more libraries, including our bespoke hybrid piano clavier, our epic cinematic percussion Cerberus, and our much-loved modern and symphonic choir Chorus. All three of these libraries are now available within MuseHub and are linked down below. So let's take a look at how Chorus can help elevate your choral writing within MuseScore Studio. Chorus is a 48-piece symphonic choir with 24 men and 24 women spread across 4 main areas, including traditional articulations, energetic syllables, traditional syllables, and choral effects, all of which makes Chorus a highly versatile choir in your arsenal. Let's take a look at the demo track I've written and break it down from there. Okay, so I've loaded up my demo track, which uses Nucleus, Cerberus, and Chorus to create this piece. Let's just listen to the whole thing, and then we'll break down how we've used Chorus inside of this track. So as you can hear, quite a dynamic piece that's starting off very haunting, very kind of minimal, and then expanding to a huge, big, almost like a march-like full tutti orchestra, and all the way through the choir is singing and more than matching the rest of the orchestra. So let's have a look at how we've used the choir. We're starting off with a very minimal sound with the choir, very pure tone, just from the female element of the choir. And we're using the traditional articulations in combination with the lyric editor to choose a range of different phrases. Now I'm just using the phrase are here, but we have other phrases, o, etc. And you can choose these using the lyric editor and the stave text. But this is a very pure, beautiful tone. We're having the choir sing in a piano range, so quite quiet, and then going down to niente, which means nothing. So you really just hear the choir trail off to nothing. Very, very minimal, very kind of delicate sound. So really just playing a supporting role in this beginning with the first chord, just to help sort of add some padding. Then we move on to feature the choir in the next rest of the piece, but we're starting with the slow syllables. So as we said, we have this very delicate intro section where the whole piece is slowly building up, and we're using the slow syllables to create this beautiful traditional choral sound, which really just sounds gorgeous when combined with the rest of the arrangement. And again, I'm using the different syllables inside of the lyric editor to really create a sense of realistic sort of rhythmic flow here. One of the problems you can sometimes have with choirs is it's just triggering the same sound. It can be quite robotic. Using the syllables can really bring so much life and energy and nuance to your performances. So that's what I've done here, just use some basic syllables, but you'll hear in isolation in particular how much this adds. So you can hear absolutely beautiful tone from the choir itself, and triggering these different syllables really just adds an extra few layers of realism and nuance to the performance. They sound absolutely beautiful, and we have a whole range of different syllables to trigger, some of them softer, some of them more plosive, so you can create different effects and really create quite a realistic transition from one syllable to the next. Now, this piece continues and starts to build very slowly. I'm going to play the next section in situ with the rest of the orchestra, but I in particular want to draw attention to the dynamic phrasing here. So you can really hear how the chorus swells in and out, and we have different volume ranges going on, and then we'll take a closer look at those. So let's just listen to this next section. So as you can see, the choir has been supported here by the oboe from Nucleus and some soft strings and harp. But let's just take a listen again to the choir in isolation, and in particular in these bars here where we have the C, Care, La, etc. Really listen to how the choir swells and then breaks down almost to a whisper. It's a very airy, very, very fragile sound, but it sounds gorgeous. Then we have a crescendo into the big tutti section. So huge dynamic range just in these soft syllables, and then we move on to the next section where we use slightly different articulation sets. So let's go to this big tutti section there. Of course, at this point we have the full orchestra playing, including some pretty heavy percussion and brass. So the choir really has to belt out over the top of everything else that's happening. And we can change the articulation type here from the slow syllables to energetic syllables. Now, as you might guess, energetic syllables are more forceful, more energetic, generally higher energy. So much better for these kinds of sections where you really want the sort of full sound of the choir in those sort of forte and fortissimo dynamic ranges. And it just sounds great. So I'm going to play you a few bars with the choir in isolation, and then we'll have a little listen to it with the rest of the orchestra. So sounds fantastic, and just like those slow syllables, we have a whole range of different syllables to choose from. I've chosen some that I think just work together to create a sense of flow, and when I need them, I'm using the more plosive syllables like care, for example, which just help create some separation and give some certain notes a little bit more force, and really just adds a lot of realism to the choir. So let's move on and take a look at the rest of the piece with the rest of the orchestra playing, so you can hear again how the choir sings over the top of the orchestra. So sounds really, really huge, has such a great choral tone and really, really quite operatic and cinematic here. And I'll just play these last few bars in isolation so you can hear some of the more plosive elements, the keep, the tar, etc. These sort of quite sudden attack syllables, and those combined with the softer so's and sophs, etc. really just help to create an even flow here and really just makes the choir sound like they're actually singing words. So you can hear no two syllables sound alike, and we can keep this variation in the sense of realism with the choir. In addition to the traditional articulations, energetic syllables and slow syllables, what you might think of as the bread and butter articulations of choral writing, we also have this really fantastic collection of choral effects as well. Now, I didn't use them in my piece because it was a bit more of a traditional piece, and I don't think they really would have cut through, but these are fantastic. So I wanted to show you a few of them in isolation. As you can see, it's a pretty large number of different effects, and some of these are really great fun and very, very highly useful as well. They're available in both the female section and the male section. So let's start by having a listen to some of the body percussion in the male section here. And this would be great for adding rhythmic support or maybe certain downbeats being accented, just really great for kind of different rhythms and so on. And they sound like this. So you can hear they sound very natural, got a great kind of dynamic snap to them, would really layer very well with Cerberus or other percussion libraries to create a really interesting texture inside of percussion. But we also have a pretty great range of atonal and tonal effects as well. And I just want to show you a few of these different ones in the female choir. We have these clusters. Now these are great at adding kind of eerie or unsettling sort of timbres to music that you're writing. Clusters are so useful when it comes to just creating a sense of maybe eeriness or ambience or something that's maybe even a bit more horror derived. So let's have a listen to these. So you can hear they sound really quite unsettling and could be great for composing in different genres. We also have these evil laughs, which I thought were really, really cool as well. So I wanted to draw your attention to these. So quite a menacing, unsettling sound there. And again, could be great as a kind of sound design bed if you wanted to layer something a little bit horror or tension driven underneath a piece that you're writing. We also have these risers. Now these risers are really great, really useful for transitions. They're very common in trailers and hybrid music, but they're also just great if you want to create a sense of tension or a sense of kind of aggression, or you want to bring focus to a transition in a piece as well. So let me show you one of the risers here. So as you can hear, really, really great sound, and you can imagine combined with string swells or brass swells or percussion swells, you can really create some quite forceful transition elements to take you to a new section of a piece of music. We also have some loops as well, so here's the loops. So again, quite eerie sounding, this kind of tick-tock rhythm that's going on, but could be really useful if you want a percussive bed or you want something kind of undulating under the bottom of a piece just to keep it going rhythmically and have a sense of drive. Finally, I just want to show you these vocal shards. Now, these are rhythmic as well, but more white noise derived, a lot more kind of upper frequencies here. But these are really great, and again, could add so much texture and so much kind of ambience and atmosphere to a piece of music that you're writing. They sound like this. So it could be great for providing pulse or providing just a sense of kind of eeriness. All of these different effects are well worth exploring. They're great fun, and as I say, they're really highly useful as well. And they're going to add so much to what you can do inside of MuseScore Studio as well. A lot of color, a lot of variety, a lot of dynamic life to your compositions. So there we have it, our choir library chorus now available inside of MuseScore Studio. I hope the demo track and video has given you some sense of what this library is capable of. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.